Hey YouTubers, this is Old John. I'm going to do a wiring project today on my solar setup. Briefly, I have solar panels, which I'll show you in a minute, that sit on a John Deere wagon that I can move around in my driveway and keep them oriented towards the sun. And the wires from them come in here through this hole here. This is also where my generator feed comes into my power panel, so they come in there. Originally, when I did this several years ago, I used this heavy wire that I had left over from another project and ties into my Odyssey charge controller. It's an MPPT50. That then goes to two marine batteries, military grade. I'll leave a link to the original setup of this project, and then to a Xanterex inverter. It's a 2000 Pro Watt SW, and then from there I have an extension cord that goes down through my basement and up to my kitchen, where I'm currently running my refrigerator off of it. A year or so ago, I installed this shutoff switch on the battery line because this controller has a programming fault. It's probably since been corrected, but 5 years ago it had a programming issue, and every once in a while this wants to shut off every 22 seconds for 2 seconds and then come back on, and that's robbing voltage to the batteries and making it hard to keep them charged. So I put this switch on here, heavy duty, so when they're doing that, because it's just simply resetting this, rebooting so to speak, the charge controller, it stops doing that. So I put this on. So I'm going to put this same kind of switch on my solar panels because there's no switch at the moment, and in case of a fire, if the fireman came in here and the circuit coming from the solar panels was not off, they could theoretically get shocked. So I'm going to put these on the two lines coming from the solar panels, so in case of a fire in here, so the fire people could shut off the power coming from the solar panels. And I'm going to replace this wire with this wire I got, and I bought 50 feet. I'm going to cut it in half and use 25 feet. This is GPT 10-19 SDR-CU SABEC 100 SPC. I'll have to get the name. Well, it says it's ROHS compliant. I have to get the exact name of this wire. But it's I'll put the specs on the screen here, and then I'm going to install these two switches out at the solar panels. I'll show you the solar panels now and where these wires come in. It's noisy out here because I live pretty close to a state highway, so sorry about the noise. Here's the solar panels, and I have them mounted on my John Deere wagon. They're only held on by 2 long bolts, so I can easily take them off, lay them down, and then use my wagon for other purposes. So I have regular wire here coming off, and then I have it crimped into a smaller wire. That smaller wire then goes to the side of my garage. So I plan on putting these valves up here somewhere and connecting the wires here to them, so I have shut off places here. This wire goes through here, and I put an intermediate old transformer box for my landscape lighting, and then combine the thinner wire to this larger wire, which then go through the garage wall and then to the house. So by running this continuous wire all the way, I'll be able to get rid of this box. As you can see, this box is a collection point for leaves because it's an obstruction here, so I'll get rid of that. So that's my project today. So I'll start first by replacing this wire. Then I'll mount the new shut-off switches and go from there. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here, well, I disconnected my monitoring device, that tells me what the input voltage is. I set that over there, and then there's a little cover on here that I take off so I can get to the wires. So I'm going to disconnect the positive. I had it marked, you can see underneath, but it's hard to see. So I had it marked with duct tape. So I'm disconnecting. Got the screw in here. Pretty small screwdriver. Okay, there's the wire. I've disconnected these wires from the panels here, so I don't have any juice. I don't have any power coming in at this point. So I'm going to then take one of my wires here. These are a tangled mess, so hopefully I'm going to duct tape these together and then pull this through and thread this through, and then around the outside of the garage. Okay, so I've got it duct taped together. So I'm going to go outside and try to pull this through. Okay, now I have to figure out which wire is which. Got this coming out beside my plug for my generator. back in and push it through. Pretty stiff wire. Well, I'm going to have to take my cover off of my input, I guess, to do this. Okay, I finished pulling the wire through. I left a little extra in case I wanted it for some reason, wanted to change something. So there's the wire coming out. I need to seal this. But there's the wire, and I got rid of the old transformer box I was using where the two different size wires came together. I have less leaves building up there, but still have some. So here's the wire coming around now. I fastened it together with a couple ties here and there, and it's longer than the previous wires, and for the time being I just got them looped here. I could literally, I think I have enough wire that if I wanted to, I could mount my solar panels here in the back in this landscaped area that has very little in it, and point them to the south and get a pretty good southern exposure. That is south. So here's the switches I put on, and I considered putting clips or something on the end here, but I haven't done that yet. So it's the same kind of switch I have inside. It's a marine type switch. That's the positive, is I put duct tape on it so I could tell. Of course, these lines coming from the panels themselves have nice connections on them. Then here's the other one. This one's got a little deeper and it's got a little better covering. And then a little extra wire there. And so I just moved these panels tracking the sun. The sun will sit over here this time of year, but in the summer it'll go all the way back another house or two. It's interesting how I've learned how the sun moves during various times of the year. So anyway, if you're interested in this video and you want to give me a thumbs up, go ahead. I'll leave a link to the other solar projects I did to birth this, and I have over 300 videos, lots of DIY, lots of product review. So that's all for now, YouTubers. Old John signing off.